This week on Unscripted, Roman Reigns' latest plans, what is WWE planning to do for the big dog and how pathetic they are becoming. News on Brock Lesnar's status for WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Will he be there? Will he not be? We'll find out. And what is Vince McMahon's reaction to the backlash walkout of fans? This and more on the future #1 podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is Unscripted. What is going on, everybody? This is the France. We are here for Unscripted episode 19. We are heading towards episode 20, which is awesome. But we have a lot to talk with, especially with last Sunday's Backlash pay-per-view, which was just fucking horrendous. Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live skated by because the only thing they did great other than Seth Rollins versus Mojo Rawley's match, and I believe the women's triple threat match, and Jeff Hardy versus The Miz, SmackDown and Raw were kind of missable. NXT, of course, made you excited for what's going to be coming ahead. It was the final episode of the last taping, so this past week they did tape what was going to be up until Money in the Bank, so we are going to be excited to see what happens there. But WWE has got to stop. It is time to end the Roman initiative. This guy is getting to be on the point of no return. It is. It's just too pathetic. We will get into that all in a bit. Of course, the fact that Roman Reigns is being told to, he's pretty much being said to the fans, hey, listen, the WWE Championship is a good title, but Roman Reigns is more important. And that's bullshit. Brock Lesnar was not at Backlash, so I don't even care how the match ended. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura should have ended Money in Backlash. It is for the WWE Championship, the longest active championship in all of professional wrestling. I believe so, but that we see on national TV or any TV really. That title has been around since the 60s or the 70s. I think it was the 50s or 60s, whatever. But that title should be precedent over everything. I don't even care if the Universal title is at the show. If it's AJ Styles in the WWE Championship or whoever's WWE Champion, it should always be the main event. Some exceptions, of course, to the rule, or if it's like a blood feud like we saw at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, where we had an unsanctioned match where that was warranted because it was supposed to be played up like nobody wanted it to happen. They had to sign waivers to make sure there was no hold. Like, if somebody got injured, then WWE was not responsible. That's fine. That was okay. We're not going to see that at TakeOver Chicago if Johnny Organ and Tommaso Ciampa have another match, which they most likely will. But WWE has got to stop pushing the Roman initiative. They've never gone this bad, and it's getting worse. And we'll talk about that later. And we also have a little piece from a Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. I don't have the video clip, but I do have. I think it was Wade Keller who was on his podcast talking about this Vince McMahon think that if he's taking advantage of his fans. And quite honestly, I'm going to have to say right now, yes, he is, but we'll get to that later too. Of course, we had trash earlier, on Sunday, which outside of the first match, that show sucked. Then we went to Monday Night Raw. And they were like, Money in the Bank is coming, so we're going to have qualifying matches. We have 6 weeks to burn. So let's have 2 qualifying for the men, 1 women on Raw, and then 2 for the men on SmackDown and 1 women's match. Of course, the women's match on Raw, on SmackDown, which Charlotte, which I think I have it in the news, but she might not even be in Money in the Bank after winning that match due to her injuries and everything happening to her. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And a bunch of other things. It is just, it's so hard to sit there and just grit your teeth and be like, come on, it's going to get better. WWE is going to eventually get through this, and they're finally going to stop. If the fans are going to start walking out, they're going to stop eventually. And from what I've heard, what I've been reading and all the news that I have here, that doesn't seem to be the case, and what they're going to do is going to be horrible. And you see what you saw at Backlash is not like when we get to Money in the Bank. If Roman Reigns is in the main event again against Jinder fucking Mahal, which by the way they're setting up from Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns to feud over the summer because Jinder Mahal is hated, and so he goes in the ring with Roman Reigns. Here's the thing: when you go into the ring with John Cena, you usually become the babyface. Same thing with Roman Reigns. You could be the most hated guy in the company. You could be the most hated guy in the world. Like, you could be a hated celebrity. You get in the same window as Roman Reigns, and you trash talk Roman Reigns. The fans will just cheer the hell out of you. Jinder Mahal had a match on Monday against Chad Gable, and he beat him up afterwards. Crowd was booing, crowd was hating him. Oh, you suck, Jinder. He comes back later in the night, trips Roman Reigns, and he gets a huge-ass babyface reaction. What the hell? Is Vince McMahon ever going to learn? Now, quite honestly, like for somebody like Vince, stubbornness comes with the territory. If he's not stubborn, then he wouldn't be where he is today. If it wasn't for his stubbornness, WrestleMania doesn't happen. Probably Monday Night Raw doesn't happen. He probably had to fight to get that on the USA Network and keep it there for as long as it was. He probably, if it wasn't for his stubbornness, WWF back in 1997, I think it was, would have closed doors. He kept fighting, but this is a fight that he's hurting his guy that he wants to be the guy. It's just not working. Vince McMahon's got to let it go. Turn him heel or something. He is so damaged right now, Roman Reigns is. He is so damaged that honestly, I don't even think a heel turn would fix him. I don't think even a heel turn would fix him. It's just that bad. But getting into the news here, what is the very first thing we're going to talk about? And that's Roman Reigns. WWE's latest plans to get Roman Reigns cheered, and this is pathetic. WWE is still working on new ways to get fans to cheer for Roman Reigns. According to Dave Meltzer on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer said that WWE is trying to recreate the Daniel Bryan storyline with Roman Reigns, where management is favoring Brock Lesnar and trying to screw him over, which is why he isn't champion. He noted that while fans aren't buying it, the company is still going forward with it. I have a question for everybody. Who made Daniel Bryan? Who made Daniel Bryan into the over babyface that he is today? We did. If it wasn't for us, if it wasn't for the fans, Daniel Bryan's comeback story wouldn't have been anything. He probably wouldn't even been general manager of SmackDown. He probably wouldn't have been like, you have to retire, future endeavor, see you bye. Because they didn't see him for anything. Having Stephanie McMahon and Triple H come out and be like, he's a B-plus player. That wasn't them playing a character. That's how WWE management felt about Daniel Bryan. But we kept pushing and shoving and saying, this is our guy. This is our guy. He is the people's champ now. That guy is Daniel Bryan. Trying to recreate that with Roman Reigns is bullshit. And how is WWE screwing him out of championships? He lost clean to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. He lost clean. He got a championship rematch against Brock Lesnar at the Greatest Royal Rumble, which he did not deserve, which he did not earn. They just gift wrapped it to him, said, "Oh, Roman, we tried. Here you go. Here's another title shot. You didn't beat him then? Here you go." So tell me, how the fuck is Roman Reigns getting screwed by the company? Daniel Bryan in Hell in a Cell, I believe it was Hell in a Cell, versus Randy Orton, got super kicked by Shawn Michaels, who was the special guest referee. So Shawn Michaels counted the pinfall, and Randy Orton was champion. Daniel Bryan, when he won his second championship, Triple H came out the next night and was like, there was a fast count. He had Scott Armstrong say, they got us, Daniel. They got us. And Triple H just pretty much had the whole thing fucked over, in which Daniel Bryan was screwed out of the championship. Triple H, Stephanie, and the entire WWE machine tried to bury Daniel Bryan, and we wouldn't let him. This is not going to work for Roman Reigns. Period. It does not matter. Roman Reigns is not believable. He's not believable as the guy. He's not believable to be a Daniel Bryan-esque person. The next closest person we have to a Daniel Bryan is Johnny Gargano in NXT. Instead of NXT trying to hold him down and keep him out, that's Tommaso Ciampa. The Daniel Bryan storyline is being used in NXT properly. And in the fact that instead of it being the man trying to keep Johnny Gargano down, the authority is being played by Tommaso Ciampa, and he is doing a hell of a job. Tommaso Ciampa is trying to do everything he can to ruin Johnny Gargano's life, keep him out of championship opportunities. He also tried to keep him out of NXT, which it worked for about a week, 3 or 4 weeks before Johnny Gargano finally got some from him before a unsanctioned match. WWE's main roster is like Vince McMahon is fucking delusional. We will talk, and I'll finish off with the Vince McMahon talk about that later, but now this is pathetic. That Vince McMahon thinks that, well, it worked for Daniel Bryan, it's going to work for Roman. Anybody with a fucking brain can tell you that like Vince McMahon and WWE did not plan for Daniel Bryan. If any fucking body sits there and says, well, that was their plan from the start, screw Daniel Bryan over until the fans get over with him, bullshit. And we have to give CM Punk some credits, because if it wasn't for CM Punk leaving, this didn't happen anyway. Daniel Bryan is one of the great all-time greats, and WWE tried to move heaven and earth to get him to be buried 6 feet under. Trying to pull this shit with Roman Reigns. You have fans of Roman saying, fuck this shit. You had people at Backlash leaving because this match between him and Samoa Joe main evented. How is it that he has been in 2 title opportunities against Brock Lesnar, losing clean? Yes, motherfuckers, his feet did not hit the floor first. If you watch the replay and you look at the fucking still shot of them showing Brock Lesnar still in the cage and Roman Reigns rolling over, and then his one foot hits the ground, his other one's on the ring skirt. Brock Lesnar rolls over onto the outside, and then the referee sees that and says, Brock Lesnar's your winner. Roman Reigns did not get fucking screwed. Anybody who thinks Roman Reigns got screwed out of that match is a fucking moron. This has got to stop. If they don't turn back now and do something different and actually give Roman Reigns a chance to be a heel, a legit heel, not in a faction, a legit singles heel, like The Rock, like Stone Cold when he first started. Triple H has been a heel multiple times. He's better as a heel. Randy Orton's better as a heel. You have to give, even John Cena, I'm going to say it now and I said it before, John Cena in 2003 was his best promos when he was a heel. It wasn't raps, but he was serious. He didn't give a fuck what anyone else said. He said what he needed to say, and that was that. Then because he was getting popular and everything, they turned him babyface, and they never looked back. Every great top guy in WWE has been a heel. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, even though I was in WCW and then in the WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, who was the top guy-ish, Randy Orton, Batista, John Cena, every single one of them have been heels. Singles heels. I'm not talking factions. Faction tag team, that's one thing, because usually the person who becomes the heel out of the faction, especially in WWE, when the faction breaks up, the heel is the one who's the less talented one, and they look like they're going to get a push as a heel, and then they just fall below the card. The babyface is the one, until they get released, is the one who gets all the push. Alright, and Big Cass and how bad he's doing. Big Cass, of course, is in hot water, and we have some news on that too. So, trying to use Daniel Bryan's story, the fact that was legitimate, that was natural, you're trying to fabricate that and try and say, here you go, we're going to take this thing and just copy paste it to Roman Reigns, because we're going to screw Roman Reigns over until he gets the championship. But what, SummerSlam? Are you going to seriously do this for the next fucking year to Roman Reigns next year at WrestleMania in the main event again? 5 fucking years going for the Universal Championship, 2 years in a fucking row, this time winning it because he's the underdog? Give me a fucking break. It's not going to work. By WrestleMania 35, nobody is going to, if you don't have plans change and you give this guy a heel run, nobody will be cheering for Roman Reigns. The very few fans that are left as Roman Reigns fans are starting to turn. They're starting to say, fuck it, get this guy off my TV, he's not worth it. WWE had so many opportunities and they fuck up every single time. Roman is not the guy. Seth Rollins is the guy on Raw. AJ Styles right now is the guy on SmackDown. Those two, better workers, better wrestlers, better overall talent than Roman Reigns. One's about in his 30s, I think. I think Seth Rollins is in his 30s. I could be wrong. AJ Styles is 40 years old, and both of them are 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, whatever times better than Roman Reigns. AJ Styles on SmackDown, WWE Champion. Seth Rollins should be the Universal Champion. No real fans or bets about it. Him as a babyface, his Intercontinental title run is going to be great, and it should at least last till SummerSlam. And this open challenge of his, that's great. He goes and sits there and praises everybody he's going in the ring with. Look at his match against The Miz at Backlash. Outside of that match, and it's probably going to be one of the best matches of the year, and it's sad that it was on such a shitty-ass show. This is, and if I'm going to do something, I'm probably going to try and do a top 12, which is one for each month, and I'm going to try and look back at every month of the calendar year in December and try and find a great match in each one and rank them as they go. So that one is going to be in the top 5 right now, plain and simple. Top 5 for the best matches of the year. Of course, if we want to combine WWE and NXT, of course, the two Gargano matches from TakeOver New Orleans and TakeOver Philadelphia are number 1 and 2, plain and simple. But, of course, if you don't want to go with him, Braun Strowman, who is also, by the way, in the Money in the Bank. And that's another thing we need to talk about, which I have, other than Brock Lesnar, who, by the way, we'll get into that. As noted, WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar is not currently listed for an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw. Lesnar has signed a new short-term deal shortly before his WrestleMania 34 main event match against Roman Reigns, which fucking sucked. While it's not known how long the contract is for, it reportedly does not last until SummerSlam, which takes place August 19th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. It was expected that Brock Lesnar would be defending the title at next month's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. However, it is apparently not the case. Dave Meltzer reported on the latest edition of the Wrestling is Over New Radio that Lesnar is not scheduled to be at that show, and it's not known when his next title defense will be, assuming that Lesnar's contract still expires before SummerSlam. That only leaves Extreme Rules pay-per-view on July 15th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, Lesnar is going to be champion, and so he's going to break CM Punk's obligatory record, which it's 2 different fucking titles. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of WWE being like, oh, Brock Lesnar, they're like, Brock Lesnar's hold the title for other days, and he's gonna be the longest reigning champion in the modern era. He's gonna break this record. It's not like CM Punk didn't break a record. CM Punk hasn't had breaking a title record as being the longest reigning single run champion of all time. It's not going to happen because unfortunately Bruno Sammartino held that title for umpteen years. 10 years, I think 7 years the first time, or 10 years the first time, which will never be broken. The only way you would be able to have a record for somebody now to hold that actually fucking matters is you retire the WWE Championship and bring a new title, which is never going to happen. It's 2 different titles. It's just like when the New Day tied or became the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. It's not the World Tag Team titles. I seriously want to reach through my screen every time you hear Xavier Woods say WWE World Tag Team Champions. I just want to wring his neck. They're not the World Tag Team titles. Those titles were retired in 2010. Those titles were the ones that were held by Demolition for 16 and a half months. WWE is with this kick of making history by tying things. It's fucking ridiculous. Brock Lesnar should have lost the Universal title last year at No Mercy. He could have won it back at the Royal Rumble. It wouldn't have been that difficult. But no, we got to keep it on him because we want to get it on Roman Reigns by the time we get to. So you're going to take Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and put it on a B show pay-per-view known as Extreme fucking Rules. Are you kidding me? Roman Reigns is going to get his crowning achievement. You're going to do this whole Daniel Bryan-esque storyline for Roman Reigns to win the title at Extreme Rules. Really? Is that the best you got, Vince? This is just pathetic. This is just pathetic. It is absolutely fucking pathetic. They need to change things up. It's coming to the point of no return. You're burying this guy. Not intentionally. I know they're not intentionally trying to hinder his progress. They want him to be the top guy. I understand that. But Roman Reigns is not ready. Roman Reigns is not the guy. And Roman Reigns will never be the guy. Change his theme music, change his attire, change his fucking attitude, make him a fucking heel. I've said this last week on Unscripted as well. He needed to, and they should have did this with Samoa Joe, which Samoa Joe should have won that match. Then, plain and simple, that's neither here nor there. Roman Reigns should have went into that match with Samoa Joe. He hit him with a Uranagi through the table, which before the match started. He should have had Roman Reigns get beat down so badly by Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe beats him. Samoa Joe beats him within an inch of his life. We don't see Roman Reigns till after Money in the Bank. That's 7 weeks, at least. That's 7 weeks of television he doesn't show up. You give him a nice little vacation. Quite honestly, everybody needs a vacation every once in a while, and WWE Raw would survive without Roman Reigns for damn sure, especially if Seth Rollins is the Intercontinental Champion that entire time. Roman Reigns disappears for 7 weeks, at least. He comes back. He does not have the Shield music, which is a mistake. Was mistake number one. He does not have the Shield guard, which is mistake number two. He is not a fucking babyface. He gives no fucks about the fans. He gives no fucks about WWE. He's just here for himself. He's here to make money, win championships, and he says fuck everybody. He comes out in a suit and tie, and he just sits there, and he is what he is. You need to remove Roman Reigns from TV for about a month and a half or 2 months. So about 7 weeks. So if you want to, wait till after Extreme Rules. Make this the guy beat down and hurting, and just give him a repackage or something. He can still be Roman Reigns, just new music, new attire, new entrance, new moveset. No more Superman punch, no more spear. The spear should never, and I hated him when I did it too. The spear should never be a finisher, plain and simple. It's not even that devastating. It makes the opponent look 10 times weaker. Now, if it was the spear and then some kind of devastating move, like when Goldberg did it, spear, jackhammer, fine. But just having the spear as your finisher is not good. Not at all. Get this guy off of TV for a while. It would get him off of the fans' minds. He would be out of the limelight for about a good while. He could go dark. He doesn't go on social media. He doesn't do anything. That's what I would prefer him to do. And then again comes back, suit, tie, nice expensive Rolex watch, cell phone, acts like he doesn't give a fuck about anyone but himself, and just says, fuck the fans, fuck Vince McMahon. I've done this. I've been doing this and covering the company line for 4 goddamn years, and what has it got me? Nothing. And go from there. Get the Authors of Pain to team up with him. It's a nice little Roman Empire, and then you just run roughshod over the WWE babyfaces in tag team and and everywhere else. Roman Reigns doesn't wrestle much on Raw. I wouldn't do that until after SummerSlam. Have him don't even have him wrestle on Raw until after SummerSlam. Have SummerSlam be his first match back. But until then, him and the Authors of Pain are just destroying everybody left and right, from Seth Rollins to Finn Balor to Dean Ambrose when he comes back, Chad Gable, anybody. Have the Authors of Pain and Roman Reigns beat down Braun Strowman. So when Roman Reigns wins the title, when Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns clash for the title later down the line, it means much more because you really want to see Roman Reigns lose, but you know the Authors of Pain are going to be not too far behind. How hard is this for them to figure out that this is what you need to do? So, looks like we're going, and that's another thing. Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. That's another thing. I don't have the article on here on my notes or anything, but apparently Jinder Mahal is supposed to get Roman Reigns to be cheered. That's another attempt. How? I don't know. I don't know, and it's fucking pathetic. Roman Reigns is hated. Jinder Mahal, at least he gets a reaction. Did anybody watch the match between AJ Styles and the Hell in a Cell, I should say? Let's go back to Hell in a Cell 2017. When Shinsuke Nakamura came out, his music, everyone was reacting. As soon as Jinder Mahal came out, dead silence. Dead silence. Why they didn't just call an audible and give Shinsuke Nakamura the title there, whether because they needed to, I don't know. As soon as he came out to dead silence, Vince McMahon should have been like, get this title off of this guy. Which they probably did, but they didn't know when to do it. They did then, of course, give it to AJ Styles, who still holds it to this day, and he's definitely going to hit over 200 days for this title reign, so good on him. But when you have the second most hated guy in the company come out, pull Roman down, and stop him from being able to win the triple threat match on Monday, and you get cheers for Jinder Mahal, that's a bad sign. When one of the most hated guys in the company, who buried the WWE Championship and SmackDown Live for the majority of 2017, comes out and attacks the other most hated guy in the company and gets cheered for it, there's no hope for Roman Reigns. You need to do something for Roman Reigns. Have him team up with Jinder Mahal. Have him team up with somebody. The Authors of Pain would be great. I've been pitching this. JD from New York has been pitching this. I'm sure Solid Monster or other people have been pitching this. Authors of Pain and Roman Reigns need to form a Roman Empire. And Roman Reigns, and they are Roman's lackeys. They go out there. Somebody challenges Roman to a match. Lights go out. They come back on, and the Authors of Pain are in the ring, dismantling this poor soul. Roman Reigns walks out in his suit and tie, just gloating, just living in this just boo me. I don't care anymore. Give me your booze. They feed me. Come out and say, you know how many times I've heard you say you suck, how it sickens me, how I've worked my ass off for you fans, and all you do is ridicule me. I don't give a damn about your booze anymore. I don't give a damn about anything. You can boo me, cheer me, it doesn't matter. You all pathetic scum. Not that hard. The Onawale family, honestly, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was Alpha Seeker or one of the older ones, who went on a podcast or something and said, the Onawale family is built to be heels. They were born and raised as heels. Why do you think the Usos, who were his cousins, his actual cousins, went out there when they were babyfaces and no one gave a fuck? But as soon as they attacked Chad Gable and got rid of the face paint, got rid of the colors and everything, and went to black and white day one-ish, cutting those scathing promos saying it's not paranoia, it's the Usos penitentiary. They went from being irrelevant to being one of the best tag teams in WWE. Because the Onawale family, the Samoans, are meant to be heels. It just works better. Yes, because fans are fucking dicks. You don't, most fans go from hating, they don't like babyfaces, most of them like the heels. That's going to happen. Nothing WWE can do. But when you have them playing the right role, like the Usos do now, when Roman Reigns gets to be a heel and actually use his family heritage the right way, look at the Wild Samoans. They were heels. Look at the Headshrinkers before in 1993. They were heels. The Headshrinkers of Fatu and Samu, they were heels. They were good heels. Until, of course, they went and, I believe, were teamed up with, I think, Captain Lou Albano, and they became babyfaces or something. Yeah, then they kind of fell from there. But heels are the way to go. When Rikishi, the only one I can see, like The Rock, yeah, but he's not really an Onawale, he's just blood relative. It's like a blood thing, whatever. When Rikishi, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, The Rock you can throw in there too, were the only exceptions to the rule. When they tried to turn Rikishi heel to be the one to run over Stone Cold Steve Austin, it didn't work very well at all. I mean, he would have been fine as a heel. I mean, he was assaulted. He was Batu, I believe it was, in the Head Shrinkers. Man, Rikishi overall had a lot of crazy ass gimmicks. But as Rikishi, when they turned him heel, it was just the wrong storyline, in my opinion. So WWE, turn Roman Reigns heel. It's his birthright. It's the way he was born. It was the way he was raised to be a heel. He's probably in the back. He probably doesn't say this because, towing the company line, I have to go out there and I have to say what they need me to say just so I don't make the company look bad. But I guarantee you, he's probably thinking this, that, man, I want to be heel. I want to be able to go out there and do like The Miz, except like be not a chicken shit heel, be a badass heel. Go out there and crush my opponents. Be somebody. Because Shane McMahon's even said it on that latest episode of Table of Three. Being a heel is better than being a babyface. Why? Because you have more freedom as a heel. You get more freedoms to say what you want to say. You don't have to sit there and smile. You don't have to sit there and pander to kids. You just sit there and you be yourself. I have a feeling that Joe Onawale, a.k.a. Roman Reigns, he says what he has to say to, like, just go out there and do it. You're not going to have Roman Reigns go out on, like, Sam and Roberts' podcast or the Stone Cold podcast and be like, you know what? I want to be a heel. I'd rather be a heel. This babyface stuff sucks. No, he's not going to say that. He's going to say company-friendly things. I mean, look at The Rock when he was turned heel. He went from being a good a boring-ass babyface to one of the best wrestlers, the best performers in all of WWE. Roman, quite honestly, could probably do that. There is a video on YouTube. It's a short video, but it's back when Roman Reigns was in NXT. I fucking loved it because he was a heel. I have no idea who the fuck. And then the ringing out an interview in the back is irrelevant because he's not around nowadays. But he's like, after so many weeks of trying, we finally get this interview with Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is pissed. Looks pissed as fuck that you're taking his time up, and it took you forever to get this interview. And just let's listen to the promo. It is fucking great. This is the Roman Reigns we need to see on the main roster. He really didn't do much in the Shield as a heel. When they were heels, he just sat there, he kept his mouth shut, he didn't talk much, which made him over. Silent badass Roman Reigns as a heel would be better than the Roman Reigns we got now. Just do something different. This guy needs a change. Vince McMahon is just not making any sense. Why you want to go with Daneil Bryan for this is beyond me. Again, we will talk about Vince McMahon later on, but that are my thoughts on the Roman Reigns situation and how WWE is just getting pathetic. They want to do this, they want to do that, and now they want to go the Daneil Bryan route. You can't manufacture. People say you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. That is true for the most part. I'm pretty sure if you wanted to try and actually catch lightning in a bottle twice, you probably could. But in the states of wrestling, when something works the first time, if you try and manufacture it the second time, it's not going to work. It doesn't even matter. I do want to say that WWE and NXT is trying to. I compare it to the Daneil Bryan story-ish when it comes to Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, but it's more on a more personal level. Daneil Bryan versus the Authority wasn't as personal as this one is for NXT because Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were best friends. Tommaso Ciampa was his best man in his wedding. And now these two are trying to kill each other, and they'll probably face off again in probably, like I said, if this was on the main roster and it was booked just like this would warrant a Hell in a Cell. We're not getting a Hell in a Cell, I'm pretty sure, because NXT doesn't get that. They get War Games, but they don't get Hell in a Cell. But if we could get one Hell in a Cell match for NXT, this would be the match. This would be the feud, plain and simple. The reason I compare it to Daneil Bryan is because when Daneil Bryan was trying to get to the WWE Championship, he was being brought down by the Authority. In this scenario, and Johnny Gargano wants to be NXT champion, and Tommaso Ciampa is the quote-unquote Authority in this product, and he's doing it a hell of a lot better than the Authority ever did. But he's going out and making Johnny Gargano's life and his wife's life a living hell. So when we get to TakeOver Chicago, whatever they're going to do, it's going to be great. I can't wait. It won't be. I honestly think when we get to TakeOver Chicago, this should open the show. Set a precedent for that show. That should open the show. It probably won't, but I think it should. Anyway, I know we're on here about, 30 minutes on that. We are going to move on here. We have news on UFC's new TV deal. just kind of get away from that Roman Reigns stuff for a minute. As reported, UFC has agreed to a multi-year deal with ESPN for exclusive live content for ESPN Plus, as well as across a variety of ESPN's TV, social, and digital platforms in both English and Spanish. This is scheduled to commence in 2019. Although ESPN has agreed to carry 10 to 15 fights on its direct-to-consumer ESPN Plus platform, and a Sports Business Daily reports that ESPN has agreed to pay $150 million a year for 5 years as part of the new deal. A television agreement has yet to be finalized. Currently, Fox Sports and NBC Sports are two networks who are in talks with UFC. But a broadcast deal is not imminent. The objective is for the network to cover a couple of dozen UFC events. In addition to the recent deal with ESPN Plus, the current deal with Fox Sports is set to expire at the end of 2018. The television factor for is important, very important for UFC as it aired 25 combined UFC Fight Night and the UFC on Fox events in 2017. Another big reason why television is important is the preliminary shows for the UFC pay-per-views out of the 12 UFC numbered events in 2017, UFC 208 to UFC 219. 9 of the prelim shows aired on FS1, while the other aired on either FX or FXX. This shows how important it is to land a TV deal in addition to the direct-to-consume ESPN content. At one point, UFC had a window where only they could negotiate, but that window had expired, which is why WWE talks has increased regarding moving over to Fox. While UFC hopes to land a TV deal before their Fox Sports agreement ends at the end of the year, WWE is also highly interested in landing a spot on Fox channels, as shown by television personality Colin Cowherd, along with Fox Sports' Eric Shanks, and talent producer Jason Ullman attending a recent episode of SmackDown Live in Los Angeles. So, if UFC is to move completely over to UFC, that just opens the door for Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and WWE to move over to the Fox Sports Broadcasting Network, which would mean WWE's Raw would go back to 2 hours, which, quite honestly, in my opinion, needs to happen. That is the one thing about this. I'm sitting here like, I really hope Monday Night Raw goes to Fox. Why? Because then that means less of a hassle when it comes to Monday Night Raw of 3 hours. There are so many times when Monday Night Raw ends, it's like we get to the 3rd hour, and it's like, this show's still going on. It's only 10 o'clock. We still have another hour of this. And as you know, the 3rd hour drops off a lot. Now, of course, with Fox always having its news at 10, there would be a 10 o'clock cutoff with no overrun, which the last time WWF had a Monday Night Raw had no overrun is, honestly, I can't even tell. I think it was when the Beijing Olympics happened and USA Network was running the Olympics on Monday nights, and they had to, for about 2 weeks, 2 episodes of Raw, Monday Night Raw, was cut off at 11 because of the Olympic sports. But this would be great for WWE because we could get rid of the USA Network. We'd be back to 2 hours of Raw. SmackDown would go to FS1, which is fine. And, of course, you never know what else could happen. Maybe we would have specials on Fox. Maybe we would have specials on FS1. Maybe NXT gets put on there. I doubt that, but you never know. So, definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. If it's just ESPN, or maybe they go to NBC. If NBC's in talk with Fox, with UFC, then that means that they're probably expecting WWE to either re-sign or move to Fox next year, which UFC will be off the Fox network at the beginning of next year, and then of course WWE, which the contract with NBC Universal ends at the September, I think the middle of next year, will move over to Fox, which means the 3 hour Raws will finally and mercifully be over after a 8 year stranglehold on Monday Night Raw. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Also, Fox getting WWE could also factor into the XFL with them doing XFL games if WWE wants to do that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. WWE started to have some surgery. Charlotte Flair will be undergoing surgery to repair a ruptured breast implant soon, according to PW Insider. There's no confirmation on when the operation might take place. But once Flair speculated that Flair will hold off until after the tour of Europe that is kicking off this week. Speaking of that European tour, she's going to have some surgery anyway because yesterday or the day before that, she had a match with Carmella and got a tooth or two knocked out. so she was sent home anyway for her teeth to have dental surgery. So she might be back on the tour after the. She'll hopefully be back on tour for the Tuesday episode of SmackDown, but that has not been confirmed yet. Charlotte will begin surgery repair. Flair defeated Peyton Royce on this past Tuesday SmackDown to qualify for a women's Money in the Bank ladder match that will take place at the June 17th Money in the Bank pay-per-view. There's no one yet if she will be missing the ring time due to the rupture. The Ace Comic Con announced today, like a couple days ago, that Flair will not be able to appear at the event in Seattle on the weekend, just a few days after Money in the Bank. SmackDown's Women's Champion Carmella is being sent to replace her. It has also been said that she, if need be, that she might have to miss ring time, and if so, they might do an angle in the next few weeks or so to cut her out of the Money in the Bank ladder match. It's not going to probably happen anytime soon. If we do have an injury angle in 2-3 weeks, then that's why. Apparently, she's had this ruptured breast implant since before WrestleMania. So she beat Asuka with a messed up breast implant, as well as a not completely put in figure eight to help beat Asuka. Now I can understand why you didn't want to miss time for that, but I think she could have also. Honestly, I think she could have missed Backlash, which that match was terrible. SmackDown star looks to get a single push after Money in the Bank. While Big E has spent most of his time in the main roster being part of one faction or another, two actually, that's right. It appears that company may finally be ready to give him a singles run many believe he was worthy of. According to PWM Insider, W is considering Big E for a singles push in the near future, and the upcoming Money in the Bank ladder match could be the start of that. If these reports are true, then it could be regarded as a spoiler for the New Day versus the Bar match, which has been announced for next week's episode of SmackDown Live. The stipulation for the bout is that the winning team will earn a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match for one of the members, and after these reports, the former NXT star looks to be the most likely star to qualify for the bout. A former NXT champion in his own right, Big E made his main roster debut in December 2012, where he's been up here for 6 years almost. Where he quickly aligned himself with former WWE star AJ Lee and her storyline boyfriend at the time, Dolph Ziggler. While he had a short single run after his storyline with the former Divas champion ended in late 2013, it wasn't long before E formed a faction with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston in mid-2014. This trio has later acquired the name New Day, has been together ever since, and has become one of the most successful tag teams in the history of the company. Big E, I remember back when NXT was not on the network back in 2012, I was actually having to go through Daily Motion to find the actual episodes of NXT because you couldn't find them anywhere. And Big E, Langston at the time, he had a little bit of a gimmick. He was the master of the 5 count. He would just say 5. And every time he beat somebody, it wasn't 1, 2, 3 as the referee would do. He would cover him again. He would hit the big ending again and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He wanted a 5 count. When he came up to the main roster, they stripped that away from him, made him a heel, put him with Dolph Ziggler, and made him a secondary star, a third wheel to Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee, which he did not need. Then he didn't, the problem with Big E's first singles run is that he was bland, he was bland. He was a bland black dude with weekend tights on. That's it. He didn't do nothing. He didn't have any character to him. He didn't have any dimensions to him. He was a one-dimensional character. The one thing I will credit the New Day, even though I think the New Day needs to end, they have had their time in the sun, is that they gave Big E and Xavier Woods too that chance to actually show that they have multiple dimensions to them. That is what's great about that. Kofi Kingston's been there, done that. He's been everywhere and anywhere. He's been multiple-time champions. He's been United States Intercontinental Tag and Tag Team champions. Should have been WWE champion, but Randy Orton got in the way of that. But he's been there. He's been here for over 10 years. I think it's 11 now, but he's been there for over 10 years. He's the elder statesman of the New Day. So Big E, honestly, if they're going to give Big E a singles push, it's time to end the New Day. I don't want to see the New Day try and be the New Day and have Kofi and Xavier Woods be the tag team and have Big E be the single star. Break them up. break them up. I would love to see Xavier Woods versus Kofi Kingston in a title feud over the United States Championship later in this year. Maybe Xavier Woods or Kofi Kingston beats Jeff Hardy for it, and then we get to some, like, I would say SummerSlam. No, I would say probably SummerSlam. I could see SummerSlam. You have Kofi Kingston versus Xavier Woods for the United States Championship, former New Day members clashing for the red, white, and blue, gold. That would be a hell of a match. Xavier Woods can go, and Kofi Kingston is a hell of a worker as well. So I would love to see that. While Big E could win the Money in the Bank ladder match, which I doubt he will, but he could have a great showing, maybe win the match, surprisingly. That would be a shock to everybody. And he becomes WWE champion instead of Joe or Shinsuke Nakamura. He comes out, hits the big ending on a prone AJ Styles after a tough match. 1, 2, 3, and your new champion is Big E, who turned heel in the process. Give me that. So let me know in the comment section below what you think of, should Big E and the New Day break up with Big E going off on his own, and the other two just, I would say, feuding over the United States Championship later this year. Big Cass, or a big ass, in hot water with WWE, and this guy is a big asshole. Here's the thing, anybody who was associated with that stupid fuck from NXT all the way up to the main roster before he became Cruiserweight Champion is nothing but trash. Carmella is a female version of him, and she's awful in the ring. She sounds like she's fucking getting fucked in a porno every time she's in the ring. Big Cass is no exception. Big Cass as I say, big ass, upset some people in the WWE after he went against the directive given to him during his segment with a little person on SmackDown. According to reports by Pro Wrestling Sheet, Cass was told to hit the man dressed as Daniel Bryan with a big boot, and that would be the end of the attack. You know, big boot, put your fist up in the air and pose. Right? Music hits. He didn't do that. And that would be the attack. Cass asked if he could continue the attack and was told by officials and Vince McMahon himself that he couldn't, but ultimately he went against the directive and hit the little person with some mounted punches after the kick. Sources speaking on the situation said this got Cass in some hot water, and officials were very unhappy with him. It is noted that the Cass went on to lose at Backlash and mitb this week, but it's not certain if the disobedience was a reason for this or if he was already planning to miss TV. Although he didn't appear on TV on SmackDown's broadcast this week, Cass was featured in a follow-up video on WWE's YouTube channel, which if you're not on TV and you end up in a follow-up video, your career is just going downwards. In the follow-up video in the YouTube channel where he took credit for Bryan's loss, you can check out the video in below. Yeah, if Vince McMahon, if you ask Vince McMahon to do something in a segment, and he tells you directly, no, you're going to do this, you're going to get from point A to point B, there is nothing after point B, and you say, okay, yes sir, you get out there and he's like, no what, fuck this, I'm going to do my own, I'm going to go in the business for myself. Yeah, he could probably, if we see Big Cass has been featured endeavored by WWE within the next month or so, you know why. Because Big Cass is a big ass. He was associated with the cancer of WWE for the longest time, even before that pairing became a staple in NXT with Carmella. Before his tag team partner came back, I've seen a couple of episodes of just Big Cass when they were going by Colin Cassidy, I believe it was. He was terrible then. He had no charisma. He sucked in the ring. He was a fucking catchphrase, and that was it. They were if you look at the hidden gems on NXT, you see those two make their NXT debut. They were shitty back then. Big Cass has got nothing for himself. He has got no charisma. He's got no moveset. He's shitty. He's a terrible worker on the mic. This guy is going to go nowhere. Of course, because of his size, he's going to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, someone half his size would not. Just because Vince McMahon has a hard-on for people his size. But going against Vince McMahon's order is a definite no-no. Anybody in the wrestling business who's worked for WWE knows if you get told by Vince McMahon something, you do that, and that's all you do. You do not go against Vince McMahon's order. If you don't like it, there's the door. See you bye. He will do nothing if he was to get fired, he would do nothing on the independents, and he would be a failure. Big Cass is going to go absolutely nowhere. If he wins the WWE Championship in his lifetime, that would be a mistake on WWE's end. He is a charisma vacuum. The guy sucks. He is terrible in the ring. It sucks to be his size because he's probably going to be riddled with injuries. He'll probably be the modern day Kevin Nash when it comes to injuries, where he'll take 2 steps one day and both his ACLs tear. I have no feeling for Big Cass, and that's that. What was Vince McMahon's reaction when fans walked out during Backlash? There were 2 conflicting reports here, and we are going to talk about both of them, and then we have the Wade Keller piece, and that is going to be it for this episode. In case you missed it, some fans walked out early at Backlash on Sunday night. This was prior to the main event match. This was during the main event match, not prior. Between Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. CM Punk... wait a minute, that was not what that was supposed to be at. Oh, I did that wrong. My bad. We do have the CM Punk thing first. Hold on. That's not what that's supposed to be at. We have the CM Punk thing first. I have my notes screwed up. 1 second. We have CM Punk's being announced for his first WWE wrestling event. Hold on. Yeah, I had that so messed up. Give me a second here. Okay, so let's talk about CM Punk first. Oh no, don't talk about CM Punk on here because some people said CM Punk coming back to WWE in 2018 or 2019. It's been confirmed with this Pro Wrestling Tees. And now, CM Punk announced for his first post WWE wrestling appearance. Former WWE superstar CM Punk has been confirmed for an appearance at the Pro Wrestling Tees store on August 31st in Chicago, Illinois, just 1 day before the All In event is set to take place. Punk is currently scheduled to fight Mike Jackson at UFC 225 in June, but following that, it seems as if he is free to do whatever he pleases regarding future appearances. Well, if he's only contracted to 2 events and 2 fights in UFC, then he's contractually obligated. His obligations are over after that. Here's a tweet from 1 Hour Tees. Our special guest appearing August 31st, 2018 at the Pro Wrestling Tees retail store in Chicago. It will be CM Punk, limited meet and greet. Tickets go on sale May 23rd at 12 p.m. Central Time. Visit our retail store event page at Pro Wrestling Tees or our Facebook event page details at CM Punk. 12:01 p.m. May 11th, 2018. CM Punk, I hope nobody, the one thing about this entire thing is I guarantee you CM Punk is going to get badgered about it. You're going to be at All In tomorrow because this will be on, he'll be at this event the day before All In. So there's a possibility because, he does live in Chicago, so there's nothing you can say about that. It could be just he walks right up to the street and is like, okay, yeah, I'll be here. But this is kind of suspicious that the fact that he's having this event and meet and greet the day before All In, and apparently there's going to be superstars or wrestlers. I get them. Wrestlers for the All In show at this 1 hour, this Pro Wrestling Tees show, a store on the same day. So maybe he'll run into Cody. Cody will offer him something, and maybe he'll show up. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I don't have a great way to get to Chicago for All In. I would love to go for this thing. We got Suguchi Okada, you got Chelsea Green, you got Cody Rhodes, of course, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. You have probably his tag team partner Kota Ibushi. You have Pentagon Jr. was also shown. I saw a thing for that for him. So looks like All In. If CM Punk is a surprise appearance, which quite honestly, I would have, if CM Punk was at All In, it would have to be a surprise. You can't just advertise CM Punk because then people are going to be like, oh, you just got that, you got those tickets sold because of CM Punk, not because of anybody else. You don't want to have that kind of hanging on your event that you only got all your tickets sold because CM Punk. So CM Punk as a surprise, if it's to happen, would be great for the All In show. Now we're going to talk about Vince McMahon. And this is the first one, according to Wrestling News Co., Vince McMahon wasn't furious like some rumors have been suggesting. According to a source, Vince McMahon apparently chalked it up at the show running late. Here's a quote from the article. Look, there is work that needs to be done to get Reigns over, but the whole idea that fans were walking out because they were protesting is absurd. Whoever fucking said that is a fucking moron. Vince McMahon sold it backstage, and he chalked it up to show running late until 11:30. Fans wanted to beat the traffic, and kids needed to go to school on Monday. Simple as that. If Vince was upset, be sure didn't show it backstage. He wasn't expecting this massive face reaction in the New York market. It was business as usual, and it didn't seem to bother him. We'll talk about that in a second. In another rumor of Vince McMahon's reaction, Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe competed in the main event of Backlash, but a number of fans were seen leaving in the Prudential Center in New Jersey, clearly uninterested in the two superstars closing out the show. Many fans and pundits were critical of the show in the general, but you don't see the audience leaving a pay-per-view very often. This is obviously an embarrassing moment for WWE, so how did the boss react? According to Slice Wrestling, Vince McMahon was extremely bothered by the fans leaving during the main event, and it was reported that to be an eye-opener for WWE chairman. From at Slice Wrestling report, Vince McMahon was not happy about large groups of the audience walking out in the Backlash during the Roman Reigns match, as he values the New York, New Jersey crowd more than any other. Of course, the New York, New Jersey crowd is where his company was made and survived for at least a decade or two. So if these fans are walking out, then, and as they say, if you was to do this in Madison Square Garden, if you make your fan, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, or the New York, New Jersey area. So fans walking out was not good. That was said to be a big eye-opener for Vince McMahon on the current status of WWE product. It's anybody's guess on what kind of eye-opener this means for Vince McMahon, but the universe can only hope it means he'll stop pushing Roman Reigns. Nope. The big dog has been headlining countless pay-per-views over the past 4 years and continues to be shoved down throats of fans who refuse to accept Reigns as the next major face of the company. Fans were also heard chanting "Delete" and CM Punk throughout the show, which is yet another sign that they've had enough of Reigns being in the spotlight time and time again. The decision to have Reigns and Samoa Joe close out the show was definitely deserving of criticism, considering no titles were on the line. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura had another match for the WWE Championship, and it's easy to argue that they deserve to be in the main event. Again, the WWE Championship should always, if it's on the line, should always main event, period. Unless, if it's always on the line. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I have that one. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Yes, so Vince McMahon not being bothered is bullshit. Anybody who puts out and says people leaving because they're protesting is bullshit. Vince McMahon chalking it up that fans are leaving to beat the traffic because kids have to go to school the next night is bullshit. What the fuck was WrestleMania then? WrestleMania went until fucking midnight. There were kids there. There were adults there. There were kids who had to probably go to school the next day because it was Monday and it wasn't a fucking holiday. Don't give me that fucking bullshit that the fans needed to beat the traffic so they could take their kids home. It wasn't kids leaving. It was probably the fans who were there by themselves or with friends who were leaving. The kids were all in the middle. Most of the kids are probably all spread out, but you didn't see kids leaving. For the most part, you saw fans that didn't give a fuck. It's not because the fans wanted to beat the traffic. It's not because the fans wanted to leave the show because it was late. They wanted to leave because they're sick and they're fucking tired of Roman Reigns. How hard is it for Vince McMahon to get that? How hard? Is it an eye-opener? Probably not. Probably not. Because we go to Monday Night Raw and what happens? It's Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal, as it says on the front of my thumbnail for the Raw review for this past Monday. Go check it out on the channel. Roman versus Jinder. Really? You expect that to get Roman Reigns over? Nothing you do at this juncture as a babyface is going to get Roman Reigns over. It's just pathetic. It's just pathetic, and it needs to stop. Vince McMahon sitting there and was like, oh, it's just late. No. When was the last time fans you actually saw videos on YouTube of fans leaving a pay-per-view? Someone tell me this. I want to know. When was the last time you saw a pay-per-view where fans were leaving halfway through a match? There were videos on YouTube, on Twitter, and everything of fans walking out and leaving. How hard is this for Vince McMahon to realize that fans don't fucking care about Roman Reigns? You could have had Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles in the main event of that pay-per-view, and I guarantee you, everybody, if you let those two have a match that those two can have, I guarantee you, every butts are in seats and had their feet and their butts on the edge of their seats waiting for this match to end. Same thing with the Styles Nakamura match. If it went another 10 minutes, in my opinion. The No Way Jose shit that they did that No Way Jose, Elias, New Day shit they did, if they took that out and gave that time to Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles and put that in the main event, and you didn't give us that Bush League ending, which should not have happened, then we probably would have been fine and fans would have stayed there and there wouldn't have been videos of people leaving. There wouldn't have been videos of fans leaving and people saying this is terrible and having Bryan Alvarez and apparently Backlash was so fucking bad that the Wrestling Observer Radio, whatever the hell, their website was crashed because of it. Vince McMahon doesn't get it. Vince McMahon is so delusional and so desperate to get Roman Reigns over that he tries to find any fucking excuse to go out there and be like, well, it's not Roman's fault. It's not our fault. It's this, and this. And it doesn't fucking work. WrestleMania was 7 hours long. WrestleMania went past fucking midnight again. First off, they need to stop that shit. It needs to end at 11 or 11:30, period. But it went past midnight. Fans stayed and sat there and shit all over the fucking product. Do you really want to see people leave your big show of WrestleMania next year when you have Roman Reigns versus whoever for the Universal Championship in the main event again? Hell, Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns. If you put that match in the main event, you guarantee you as soon as Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal's music is done, half of the fucking arena will be fucking empty because nobody wants to see that match. That better be a curtain jerking match. That better be the first match on the fucking Money in the Bank pay-per-view if it's going to happen there. I do not want to see that match in the main event, period. If AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura or AJ Styles versus Joe and Nakamura is not the main event of Money in the Bank, Vince McMahon has lost his goddamn mind, and the fucking shareholders need to get together and be like, listen, Vince, you're out. You're fucking out. They can do that. It's not Vince McMahon's. It's not Vince McMahon's anymore. This is a publicly traded company. Having fans walk out, I guarantee the shareholders are not happy about that. If you don't have your fans sitting there invested in your show and they're walking out because this isn't a sport like an NBA game where the Cavaliers or the Golden State Warriors or the Houston Rockets or whoever is blowing a team out and the fans are leaving because their home team just got their ass kicked and there's 5 minutes left in the game. That's not this. This is an entertainment spectacle that should keep fans invested. If you see half of the fucking arena leaving before the match even concludes, there's something wrong. And it starts at the top. Vince McMahon needs to go. The shareholders, because the shareholders have the right to do this, should get together and vote him out. Vote him out. Vote Triple H in and make Triple H the new man in charge. Vince McMahon has to go. He's 70 years old. He's out of touch. He's fucking pathetic. And he's grasping at straws to try and get Roman Reigns over, and it needs to end. The initiative for Roman has to end. We're going to end here with a piece from First and Torch. Ray Keller was a recent guest on Stone Cold Steve Austin's Show podcast, and he talks about if Vince McMahon takes the fans for granted. He says, I am not convinced that Vince McMahon's number one goal is to satisfy his fans. That would be a check. I know that sounds weird to say it, but I think he is in the mode where the number one goal is to satisfy Wall Street, TV executives, and potential suitors who would be paid huge money like UFC got, and I think that's on his mind so much he's losing sight of how much damage he is doing by continuing to push Roman Reigns. In these circumstances where the optics are terrible, what do you think if you're a TV executive or a potential suitor to the company and you tune into the network and you watch your lead babyface getting rejected by your fan base? You start to think maybe Vince McMahon doesn't know what he's doing or that his fan base is hard to please and maybe we don't want to get in this business. I don't know. I get Vance's rationalization and determination, but I am concerned that it will backfire more than he is realizing. If that core fan base that's making the TV deal possible and that's filling the Raw and SmackDown arena with passionate fans, I think he's taking the fans for granted. Could not say it better myself. Vince McMahon cares about the money. Everyone who, I can understand Vince McMahon in his position wants the biggest deal he can get. But if a TV executive who's supposed to be brokering this deal turns on Monday Night Raw and half the fan base is empty, half the fucking, and back in 1997 to 2000 and whatever, you would see the entire arena lit, fans completely full, the entire bowl and the entire arena filled. WWF was so popular at one time they could fill the Georgia Dome every so often. It was like 3 or 4 times a year they went to the Georgia Dome and other stadiums like that. They can't do that now. If they wanted to take that and go to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome for a Monday Night Raw, it wouldn't be able to do it. They can only pull that off for WrestleMania, and that's because they have fans who don't come around any other time coming in. If fans outside of the United States did not come to WrestleMania, WrestleMania would not be in stadiums, period. But yes, he is taking his fans for granted. He just says, it's like, here you go, here's some pile of shit to watch. Watch it. Enjoy it. That's good. That's good comedy right there. Again, like I just said, Vince McMahon has to go. He has to go. If they lost a lot of money on their last TV deal. They came out, and this is right before they started the Roman Initiative, I believe. Yeah, this is right before they started the Roman Initiative because the Shield was still together. The WWE Network, I think, played factor into it too because the WWE Network hurt the chances of getting a big deal. They came out and was like, they told the shareholders, hey, we're going to have a deal that's 2 or 3 times as big as our last TV deal, and then they get the TV deal from ABC Universal, and it wasn't even close to what they said it was, and the shareholders weren't happy. So when the WWE goes for a chance this time, and we get to the shareholders and everything, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go to Fox, we're gonna get this amount of money, and we're gonna do this and this. WWE is going to lose out on money again because the Fox brand is going to turn on Monday Night Raw. They're going to see the guy who's supposed to be the big top guy in Roman Reigns, and he's getting booed. Whereas Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman are getting cheered, and those guys should be your top 2 baby faces. Roman Reigns, as a heel, has a litany of opponents. Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Dean Ambrose if he comes back and wants to be a babyface until he turns heel. You have Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt if you want to throw them in there just for something to do with the Authors of Pain, if you have them join together. You have a Drew McIntyre who could be heel or could be babyface, it doesn't matter. Him versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship with Roman Reigns losing to a babyface Drew McIntyre. Give it to me. But Vince McMahon, with his tunnel vision, is hurting the product. And unless things change soon, they're going to be stuck on the NBC Universal, and they're going to have nobody wants to touch them. Wade Keller's right. He does take us for granted. We're the lifeblood of WWE. If we don't buy the network, if we don't buy the pay-per-views, if we don't buy the merchandise, if we don't buy the tickets to the shows, if they open the Monday Night Raw, if they open gates to Monday Night Raw and 100 people showed up, they're losing money. If they go to the WWE Network, they're over, almost 2 million subscribers. If that drops to about 1,000 subscribers, they're losing money. WWE needs to change something. Because having Roman Reigns be the top guy over the WWE Championship is an insult to that championship. They would have never done that during Stone Cold Steve Austin's era. They would have never done that during John Cena's era is kind of fickle because when he was WWE champion, it was 2 world titles like there are now. But other than WrestleMania 11, which was a mistake in my opinion, even though LT did hold his own against Bam Bam Bigelow, that match should have never headlined that WrestleMania. But other than that, during Hulk Hogan's time as the WWF champion, when he was defending that title, it was always the main event. When Macho Man Randy Savage defended against that title, it was the main event. When Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were fighting over that championship, would you have had the Montreal Screwjob happening as the third to last match at Survivor Series 97? Do you think you could have had anything else go on after that match? No. Why were you going to have Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles third to last? You had that, then you had a useless tag team match that didn't need to happen, and then you had Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns in a match where Samoa Joe had to dumb down his match typing to have Roman Reigns keep up with him. It's pathetic. Vince McMahon needs to, somebody needs to get into Vince McMahon's head and tell him he needs to stop. He's got this tunnel vision where anything outside of Roman Reigns doesn't matter. You sacrifice everybody else in the company to kind of get this guy over, and it's not working. And it never will. And honestly, even if you paired him with the Authors of Pain, or if you paired him with anybody, a heel turn by this time, I think is not good, and it's too late. Honestly, Roman Reigns, the only thing I can say is Roman Reigns leaves, gets taken out for 7 weeks or whatever. I would keep him out till SummerSlam. Show packages or whatever, show interviews. He does not make a live appearance till SummerSlam, where he comes out, new music, new attitude, new attire. I mean, when the Shield broke up, Dean Ambrose went to white beaters and jeans. Seth Rollins went to tights, tights and a new tight shirt. It wasn't Shield garb. What did Roman Reigns do? Same music, same attire, just with a double R, a stupid looking R on his chest. He took the Hardy Boys logo and they changed it up a little bit. That's all it looks like. But that is going to be all for this Unscripted. I've been here for a good minute. A lot of ranting here. Thank you guys for watching, and we have ourselves some new subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing. Make sure to keep that up. Find me on Twitter at TheFronts. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFronts08. Make sure to hit that sub button. Comment down below. I'll be back here for Monday Night Raw's review and results show. We'll see where the Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns feud continues, which I am looking forward to that as much as everybody else, which is not at all. And if that ends up being the main event of Money in the Bank, I have some bad news for Vince McMahon, because a few people walking out at Backlash is going to be half the fucking building. As soon as that match if that match, I guarantee you, if Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal at Money in the Bank is closing the fucking show, which I could see them doing that just because it's Roman Reigns. By the time that match promo ends, half the building is going to be gone, because it's this is our main event. I'm out of here. That's what they would do, I guarantee you. But I'm getting out of here. I've talked enough. You've heard my voice enough. But make sure to see you guys later, and see you on Monday.